तो यहाँ पे मच्छी रखें, मच्छी पता किसे कहते हैं? कैंडी को मच्छी कहते हैं पंजाबी में। यहाँ पे साइड पे रख लें, उसको छेड़ना नहीं है, ना उसको चबाना है ना कुछ, जो बस रखें, उसकी शुगर जो है ना मेल्ट होते होते आपको एनर्जी देगी, ठीक है? ऑलराइट, सो लेट्स टेक अ स्टार्ट. द टाइटल इज एजुकेटिंग साइकी. एजुकेटिंग psyche, masoom bachche, educating psyche. And if you read the subtitle, please read the subtitle. Educating Psyche by Bernie Novell is a book. Okay. So Educating Psyche is a book by some writer, and in this book they will tell us the psychology of education, learning, psychology of learning, education and all that. So now get ready. We are going to read a passage which is about learning psychology. After this, we come to the questions. All right, multiple choice hari vi aayo ine. Okay, questions 27 to 30, multiple choice. Look here, good news. Good news is in multiple choice questions also the questions and answers are in order. Thank goodness. How to do it? First, only read the question. Do not read the options. Just read the question. After reading the question, from the question you will find clue word, right? And first question might take more time. Then you will find other questions and answers easily in the passage. When you read the question, go to the part of the passage and there is one sentence, one single sentence which will match with A, B, C or D. It's not that you have to read too much. You have to read one paragraph. No, one single sentence. Let's just see how to do this, okay? We do this one together. The book Educating Psyche is mainly concerned with, now look here. Why are we going to the passage? Because we want to know what is the main concern of the book Educating Psyche. Please come to first paragraph because there they mentioned. Follow me please, first paragraph. Educating Psyche by Bernie Novell is a book which looks at, right, concerning which looks at radical new approaches to learning, describing the effects of emotion, imagination, and unconscious of learning. Now go back and match one thing with these ideas. I mean, one thing will match with one of these ideas. Just match it, then I'll ask you. Just focus, new approaches to learning, describing the effects of emotion, imagination, and the unconscious on learning. C. Okay, now listen, in multiple choice, when you go through the options in order, right? And as you read the option, the first target is to eliminate two options. Two options must be eliminated because out of 4, 2 options are irrational, illogical, irrelevant, right? Let's read. And consider that 2 lines we read. Option A, power of suggestion in learning. No. Some options will be no, some options will be not at all. Absolutely not. And some maybe. So maybe can be considered, no, not at all should be crossed. Option B, particular technique. Okay, just a second. Option B, a particular technique for learning based on emotions. Maybe, all right, leave it then. Option C, effects of emotion on imagination and unconscious. Yes, let's go back. Come back to the passage, effects of emotion. That's what they said. Please come back here. Educating Psyche is a book which looks at radical new approaches to learning, describing the effects of emotion. Now, not effects of emotion on another thing. They only said the book is concerning about describing the effects of emotion, imagination, and unconscious on learning. Come back. Option C is effects of emotion on imagination. No, it's not the effects of emotion on imagination. Option D, please come to that. Ways of learning which are not traditional. This is the right answer. Now I tell you why. Ways of learning which are not traditional. Please come back to the passage. Ways of learning which are not traditional. Now they say, radical new approaches. Radical new approaches means something new. Okay, so for that they use the word not traditional. Radical new approaches means not traditional. So they say, looks at radical new approaches to learning. So that means ways of learning. For learning they use the word ways of learning which are not traditional. For not traditional they use the word radical new approaches. So the right answer is option D for doctor. अब जाके इस पे खपिएगा क्यों, कैसे, कहाँ से, बाकी क्यों गलत, then you'll be clear about it. Okay? Yeah. And remember, in IELTS, reading and listening, there is no ambiguity. You cannot say C भी तो हो सकता है, D भी तो हो सकता है. They actually twist the facts, right? Most of you were thinking it's going to be option C, effects of emotion on imagination. They talked about emotions, they talked about imagination, but they did not talk about the effects of emotion on imagination. So this is how you need to see. Don't look for words only. And by the way, now you are doing section 3. So section 3, don't expect section 3 sparrow will be the answer or crow will be the answer. Okay? Yeah. Question number 28. Losanov's theory claims, what's the clue word? Losanov. So Losanov's theory claims that when they try to remember things, then there is comma. When they try to remember things, something happens. So clue word, Losanov's, and then when they try to remember things. So we go back. As I said, questions and answers are in order. So you will find Losanov first time in second paragraph. Okay? Now, Losanov's instructional, found it? In the same paragraph, please come to line number 5. If we think, last 3 words. Line number 5, last 3 words. Found it? Okay. If we think of a book we studied months or years ago, we will find it easier to recall peripheral details, the color, the binding, the typeface, the table at the library where we sat, which studying it, than the content on which we were concentrating. Okay, so listen now. What he is saying, you are attending IELTS classes here. Whatever I'm teaching you, you will forget it. But you will remember the candies. You will remember the place. Okay, so this is what he's saying. Now go back and see which option is appropriate for that. See, these are unimportant details. Color of the book, texture of the book, billi wala qaida, billi wali kitab, and all that. So, option A. I tell you why. Let's read from D to A. Option D. Peripheral vision is not important. No, they talked about peripheral, but actually they did not say it is not important or important. Option C. Most significant facts are most easily recalled. No, he is saying less significant facts are easily recalled, right? Option B. Concentrating hard produces the best results. Did not mention it. A. Unimportant details. Now, what are unimportant details? For that, he mentioned, if we think of a book we studied months or years ago, we will find it easier to recall peripheral details. Color of the book, binding of the book, typeface of the book. What is that? Unimportant details are the easiest to recall. Okay? So, A will be the right answer. Let's go on. Question number 29. In this passage, the author uses the examples of a book and lecture to illustrate that. Now, book and lecture. Our clue word is book and lecture. As I said, questions and answers are in order. Go back to the same paragraph and you will find book and lecture. Same paragraph. If we think of a lecture, found it? Now please read it from here and then tell me what is the answer. If we think of a lecture, Read it carefully. Okay, let's do it together. Please follow me. If we think of a lecture we listen to with great concentration, we will recall the lecturer's appearance. कि उस दिन मिस ने गोटे वाला सूट पहना हुआ था, हाँ सर ने उस दिन ऐनक भी लगाई हुई थी, something like that, okay? So they say we will recall the lecturer's appearance and mannerisms, our place in the auditorium, कि हम वहाँ पे बैठे थे, right? The failure of the air conditioning, पता है बिजली बंद हो गई थी, फिर सबने चीखें लगाई थी, like that, okay? All right, air conditioning much more easily than the ideas we went to learn. कि बेचारे लेक्चर ने जो पढ़ाया था वो नहीं याद, बिजली बंद हो गई थी, छत गिर गई थी उस दिन, पता है बारिश हो रही थी जब हमने पकौड़े बनाए थे, something like that. Now keep this in mind and we go back, book and lecture. Author uses the example of a book and lecture to illustrate that. Now what is it that he tries to illustrate? Odd one out. A, both of these are important for developing concentration. Not at all. Come to option D, D for doctor, D पे आइएगा. We can remember things more easily under hypnosis. No. Option C, reading is a better technique for learning than listening. Never. Okay, now we are left with B. His theory about methods of learning is valid. Why valid? It is applied on book reading and it is applied on lectures as well. So B is going to be the right answer. Well guys, keep in mind you're doing section 3. सेक्शन 3 में इंग्लिश पता है क्या होता है, आहिस्ता आहिस्ता व्हेन वी गो ऑन आपकी इंग्लिश आपका साथ छोड़ती जाती है. अब सेक्शन 3 कर रहे हैं, आखिरी जो क्वेश्चन होंगे 4-5 वहाँ पे कुछ लोग बेबस हो जाएंगे, ढेर हो जाएंगे, क्योंकि अब उससे आगे उनका वो लेवल नहीं है ना, उससे आगे वो जा नहीं सकते, राइट? दिस इज द थिंग. सो उसके लिए थोड़ी हिम्मत करें, इंप्रूव कर. सेक्शन 1 कितना सब हंस रहे थे, ये आंसर है, ये आंसर है. अब जब सेक्शन 3 पे पहुंचे हैं तो इसी तरह जब कल लिसनिंग कर रहे थे 1 पे इतने खुश सारे, 2 पे फ़ोन नंबर लिखो ये, और जब सेक्शन 3-4 पे आए तो अचानक खामोशी छा गई है, वही होता है. सो डोंट वरी, इंजॉय करें, अपनी इंग्लिश का लेवल अच्छा करें, ये चीज़ें फिर समझ आएंगी. ओके, क्वेश्चन नंबर 30. लोसन ऑफ क्लेम. अब लोसन ऑफ सेकेंड टाइम आ गया तो एक और जगह पे भी होगा. लोसन ऑफ क्लेम्स दैट टीचर्स शुड ट्रेन स्टूडेंट्स टू, कि किस चीज़ के लिए टीचर्स को स्टूडेंट्स को ट्रेन करना चाहिए. Yeah, Losanos claims that teachers should train the students too. Third paragraph. Please come to third paragraph. Okay, third paragraph and third line. Losanov therefore made indirect instruction or suggestion central to his teaching system. In Suggestopedia, as he called his method, consciousness is shifted away from the curriculum to focus on something peripheral. The curriculum then becomes peripheral and is dealt with by the reserve capacity of the brain. Now just go back and see. You know what is he saying? Like, you pay attention to this environment. So he takes the curriculum to the back end, right? And then subconsciously you are learning about that. So let's see which option matches with that. Option A, memorize details of the curriculum. No, cross it. Option B, develop their own sets of indirect instructions. No. Option D, D for doctor. Avoid overloading the capacity of the brain. No. Option C, think about something other than the curriculum content. Right? Think about something other than the curriculum content. Curriculum goes back, and option C is the right answer for question number 30. Okay.